Hey, what's up? It's Jake with Nimbus DevOps, and the last part of this we're going to be doing is going to involve performing a rolling update. So, pretty simple, but users expect apps to be available all the time, so you should be expected to know how to deploy new versions of them several times a day if needed. In Kubernetes, this is done with rolling updates. So this allows the deployments update to take place with zero downtime by incrementally updating pod instances with new ones. And the new pods will be scheduled on nodes with available resources, so it won't break anything, right? And in the previous video, I scaled the application out and then I scaled it in by just saying, hey, run four uh, pods. And then I said, hey, run two pods, right? And that's a requirement for performing updates without affecting application availability. But by default, the maximum number of pods that can be unavailable during the update and the maximum number of new pods that can be created is 1. So both options have to be configured to either numbers or percentages of pods. So in Kubernetes, updates are versioned, and any deployment update can be reverted to a previous stable version. Okay. So, this is kind of like app scaling. If the deployment's exposed publicly, the service will load balance the traffic to only available pods during the update. And available pod would be an instance that's available to the user app, obviously, right? So basically, we're going to promote the app from one environment to another via container image update. We're going to do a rollback to the previous version, and then you can use CI/CD of applications with zero downtime, which is pretty cool. So let's check this out. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's check out our deployments. So let's do a kube control get deployments, and we can see I still have my little bootcamp thing. And then let's check out our pods. Get pods. I've got 4 pods running. Okay, let's do a kube control describe pods, get some information on them. Kube control describe pods. So now we have a lot, right? So you have 4, so it's a huge wall of text. And you can see that we have them. You can look at all that stuff if you want to, but looking at it is not really the most important part. Um, what we're really looking for is the image version. So if we look at, okay, we have this container. Here's the name. Where's my image version, right? So if you go through here, and it's like, here's my image, and it says v1, and then I have an image ID of the Docker image, right? This is v1. So to update the image of the application to version 2, you would use the set image command followed by the deployment name and then the new image version. So if I wanted to, I could completely change this and use a different bootcamp version, and I could say kube control set image and then deployments slash Kubernetes dash bootcamp. And we're going to say that's the old one, right? And we're going to say Kubernetes dash bootcamp equals, and I'll say JOCATA. I never remember how to pronounce that guy's name. All right, Kubernetes dash bootcamp colon v2. So kube control set image deployments Kubernetes dash bootcamp. I'm going to set this image to Kubernetes dash bootcamp is equal to this new version, version 2. And we hit enter. It says image updated. So this told the deployment to use a different image for the app and initiated the rolling update. And you can check the status of the pods and just go kube control get pods. And we can see that it's terminating the 4 and the other 4 are already running. Is very fast. So we can verify the update with a describe. So we can do kube control describe services dash Kubernetes dash bootcamp and check this out and see, okay, there's our app, our IP, our node port, blah, 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 right? And look at, first we're just checking that it's running, right? So we have the exposed IP in the port 219 and 151, and our port is 8080. And let's do our little environment variable trick. So I'm going to go ahead and create this again. Paste. Okay, so there's my port. And then I can do a curl now. And I should be able to get this. Okay, hello Kubernetes running on. And then here's our new replica set with a new uh, set of random characters here. And we see that the version is 2. So you can also confirm this with this cool thing that they do. It's called rollout status. So you can go kube control rollout status. Wait a second. Resource not specified. Oh, duh, because I need to. Sorry. You probably need to tell it rollout of what? Kubernetes bootcamp. Okay, it was successfully rolled out. So if you want to look at the version, that's where you'd use the pods. So kube control describe pods, and then you can look at the version that's running. So I can see here the image is on this new image on version 2, and that's how you'd verify that. So let's say that we wanted to roll this back, right? Like what happens if, and you'll see this a lot at work, right? When you're like, oh my gosh, something happened. We need to do a roll, we need to roll this back. Super easy. You just need to have the definition of your previous image, and you can use kube control set image just like we did before. It's the same exact command actually. Deployments slash Kubernetes dash bootcamp, and then we're just going to point that to Kubernetes dash bootcamp is going to be equal to, and then our old one, gcr.io slash Google samples slash Kubernetes dash bootcamp, and then version 1. And then we set the image. So as long as you have your like this is defined, right? This is defined with basically a location, and it's just going to be able to find this. Then I should be able to change this whenever I want to really easily and get the pod and see, okay, the old one is terminating, and now I have this new one. And if I describe the pods, we can check out the version. So let's do describe pods, and I can see image. Now I'm back on version 1. There's another way to do this to roll back a deployment to your last working version, and that's to use the rollout undo. So let's use that rollout status. Instead of status, I can say rollout undo and then point it at my deployment, and it will be like, this has been rolled back, right? And that just reverts the deployment to the previous known state. Updates are versions, so you can revert to any previously known state of deployment, which if you're going to do that, I would do the set image, right? Instead of, I think set image is very specific, so it's kind of nice to be able to know exactly what you're setting this to. But you can always verify with Kubernetes kube control get pods, and I can look and see, okay, this new one is running. And if I describe them, kube control describe pods, I can see the image is on version 1, and then I've got this. Is this one even running? State is running. Yep. Okay, cool. And then if you look at some of these other images, version 1, let's go up here, version 1. Up further, version 1. All right, cool. It's easier when you just clear your screen. Okay, cool. And the other ones are completely gone. So if you describe this, the deployment should be using a stable version 2, if the rollback was successful. So we saw that it was on version 1. So if I say kube control get pods, or I'm sorry, describe pods, and it says, okay, now it is on version 2. So I just ran the command too fast. And that's how you would double check. So now we can see that we have 4 running, and in there all these images are on second version, and that's just because I did the rollback. So I wonder what happened if I did it again. So if you did kube control rollout undo, and it says okay, it's been rolled back. Now let's do a kube control get pods, and we can see that they're terminating, and the other ones are running. And we'll just wait a second. Wait for that to finish, because if I do a describe, cube control describe pods, yep, okay, it's already back on version 1. So you can see going back and forth is super fast, and you're able to version your stuff with zero downtime, and Kubernetes handles everything for you. So if you're getting into Docker and you're playing with Docker and you containerize an app, if you've seen any of my other videos on like containerizing an app, it's like once you have your image up and you got it good, then if you can just um, figure out a way to do whatever tests you want in some sort of pipeline, like some automated tests to check like is the app functioning as you would expect it to, with whatever tests defined by you, and it passes, that it automatically gets deployed. In Kubernetes, you're talking about automated CI/CD pipelines with zero downtime, rolling deployment, rolling updates. So I think that's pretty cool, but that's just me. So this concludes the very short section on the Kubernetes basics. So I started out with just some theory, and then I went to just doing a whole thing, and then I broke this whole thing down into like 5 or 6 parts. And hopefully this makes sense, and you have a working knowledge of Kubernetes. You're not like an expert or anything, but at least you could get it in the command line and work your way around. So. But that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know. And if not, then I'm going to go figure out what we're going to do next.